Hey, gang, this is Andy over at the Facebook Live TV show. And I'm not in my normal studio because apparently overnight, wait for this to get started here. There we go. So overnight, I don't know what happened. I don't know if the internet gremlins came in here or my dog went nuts because on my laptop computer, the mic was all unplugged and the webcam, which is the Logitech, which is, I think you can see it, it's right back here. The plug was bent down and completely broken. So my Logitech webcam is down, so I cannot broadcast live from my studio. I don't know how long it's going to be. Of course, I got Alexa on the in whatever you call it. I got her on the hook, I guess, for ordering me a new webcam. So I told Alexa. I told Alexa that I needed a new webcam. She ordered it, and so it should be on the way here shortly. Crapola. And so it's going to be a couple days before I'm back in my studio over there. But a couple things are happening here, and I wanted to make sure and give you an update because some of you, I don't know if you get noticed, get a notice from Facebook when you get deleted out of a group, a private group. But as you know, those of you that are in the Elite program or the Facebook Live program, you automatically were put into the private Facebook group, and that is where you will stay. But there were a number of people that slipped in somehow. I'm not sure. And so I'm going to blame my assistant for letting people in without making sure that they were people that actually had paid for and were members of the Facebook Live Elite program. And so what I had her do is compare who is actually registered. I'm looking over here on my other computer screen, and who's registered into the private or into the Elite program or the Facebook Live TV show training program. And I may have missed a couple people. So what I want you to do is to make sure that I didn't delete you when in fact you are in the program, because I have the list here and it doesn't seem that I have everybody. And so I could have made an error and kicked you out of the group when in fact you are in the group. So if you could do me a favor, private message me, tell me when you purchased, and it doesn't have to be the exact date, just that, just to let me know, because when we do a report in the Kajabi, for some reason, there's names of people that I thought were in there that aren't in there. And so I'm sure that you must have been deleted out of the private group. What's going to happen is we are going to put a gate into that group, and it's for 24 hours, which is going to start tomorrow. 24 hours, I'm going to make it $4.99 to be a part of the private group, whether or not you purchase the Elite program. And the reason for that is because I can tell there's a lot of people that want to get into that group. But what I'm doing is putting together some videos, and I just made one last night with John North, who went through an extensive course with me, and I recorded it on how to use Facebook ads, how to use the business manager, and it's only part one. It looks like it's going to be 3 or 4 parts to me because of the way our broadcast went yesterday. It was quite extensive, and he has such a lot of insight. And so those types of videos are going to be put into the private group and into the membership site. And so to be able to do that and to be able to do this for a living, obviously I have to find a way to make revenue. And I don't think $4.99 a month is that big of a deal. But due to the number of people that were in the group and want to be in the group, it just makes sense. Now, I know all of you are not going to want to, so then that's fine. But I'm telling you that for $4.99 a month, you're going to get a lot of stuff that you can't get anywhere else, because we're going to be bringing in some experts again. So remember, we have a Create It, Launch It, Profit site. That's where we're creating a product, and we're doing it live, and we're doing it also some recorded stuff. As a matter of fact, John North's Facebook recording that we made yesterday will be in that Create It, Launch It, Profit also. And then we're going to be doing the same thing in the Facebook Live private group, which will be concentrating on Facebook Live stuff and talking about strategies to increase your audience and strategies about how to, get them to take the next step of purchasing something. One of the things I wanted to also tell you about is that I've been watching people do these challenges to themselves, I think, and maybe challenging other people to do the same thing, to create a Facebook Live every day for 120 days or whatever it is, whatever their number is, 100 days. Then you also have those push-up challenges, and you have this other kind of stuff. Well, I have a challenge that I've challenged myself, and I'm not sure how I can necessarily bring other people into it or not, but I'm working on that. And that is a 30-day challenge of publishing a book every day for 30 days. So I'm on track. I'm on my 6th day. I published my 6th day this morning, or my 6th book this morning on the 6th day, and it's going really well. And what is the purpose? So sometimes I wonder, what's the purpose of doing a Facebook Live every day? Now, there's a couple people doing it. Oh gosh, the names are escaping me of all the people that I know for sure that are doing it. Now, where are they? I had a couple people here. I know Jill Fagan's doing it. She's doing a Facebook Live every day, and I can't remember how long. Hey, Charmaine, I can see that you're on here. Glad you're here. Where was I going? Oh, I was looking to see who was doing these challenges. Gosh darn it, there's a couple people, and I had it up here where I saw that there were a couple people doing it. And sometimes I wonder, what's the strategy? What's the real strategy? Is it increasing interest? Is it increasing your audience? Does that work by doing one every day, or do people get bored of seeing you every day? I just got on. Did you give the link for your Facebook Live membership group? The Facebook Live, you're in it already, Charmaine. I just checked, and you didn't get deleted out of there, so you're in the private Facebook Live group. Yeah, every day, a Facebook Live for me. I think I do one almost every day because I do a couple. I have, of course, Falco Canada Academy where I do Facebook Live. I have Create, Launch, and Profit where I do Facebook Live. I have the Facebook Live TV show. But there's like days where, man, I can't get even my phone out really because there's so much going on between the kids and that kind of stuff. And you may think, well, Charmaine may be thinking, well, Andy, how about writing a book every day for 30 days? Well, I'm going to be talking more about that in the private group and letting that strategy out of the bag and how I do that and how I'm going to continue to do it. It may go on longer than 30 days. The way things are going and the reaction, the reaction to interest in people actually purchasing the books is actually going very well. So I think I've hit upon something. I've been encouraged to do these books quite some time from Bruce Jones, and I'm talking to Jen Foster, and who else am I talking to? Melanie. And they're doing the same thing, but they're not doing one every day. I think they're thinking about doing the same thing, but it's awesome. And so I see the outcome of what it is that I'm doing with writing those books, and I see how that's working, and it's going well. But now there's going to be other strategies of using those books that I'm going to begin testing and that kind of stuff, and I'm going to be talking about in the Facebook Live private group. So thank you for asking, or making that statement there, Charmaine, because that is the point, right? It's something that people look at and they go, how are you doing that, right? And that is the thing. That seems very challenging. I don't know if I could do that. And so that was the answer to one of the questions, like, is this a useful strategy, and why? Why would I be doing something like that? That is the question. And if the answer is yes, this is going to give me traction. Yes, this is going to create interest. Yes, I can see that it will bring me to a place where I can financially benefit. And again, sometimes we wonder, or we don't wonder, we feel the guilt of making money off of doing things hits people. And even to this day, every so often when I mention it, it kind of, there's this little chord that gets twanged that says, well, people don't like it when you make money. Well, how else are we supposed to do this, right? How else are we supposed to afford to ask Alexa to order me a new Logitech 920 webcam, HD webcam, if I'm not finding a way to make money at doing this, right? And so how we go about doing this is, or how we get past that feeling of guilt, is that we make sure that what we're giving is valuable, that people are enjoying what it is you're doing. You're getting positive feedback. Charmaine is one of those people that every so often gives me very positive feedback. I think one day she said I was her hero, or was that Mark? It might have been Mark. I can't remember. No, he said I was a stud. And so it would have been better if Charmaine said I was a stud and Mark said I was a hero. Somebody else told me I was a Tony Robbins of Facebook Live. And so those are things that are encouraging to me, that at least what I'm doing is being accepted, that what I'm doing, people are getting a benefit from, and all that kind of stuff. And so to then put a gate on something to begin to charge, I don't feel guilty. As a matter of fact, I think that one of the things that you should look at is when you are paying, is that you're paying to pay attention. You're paying to get better results, right? Charmaine is another, I bring up Charmaine a lot because Charmaine is very active in the group. And she says, hey, what about this new thing? And it's 90, and when I look at it, it's $97. And so I'm spending money to look at things. So maybe sometimes you don't have to, and I can save you money. So in the long run, paying $4.99 or whatever it is, at least for now, for 24 hours, it'll end up going to the same thing as Create a Launch a Profit, which is $9.99, and then eventually $14.99 is my plan. Is that paying that price is so that somebody like me, who's really kind of interested in what it is that we're doing, can do some of that legwork and take some of that time that you don't have time for. And if you do, it'll cost you more money, right? It'll cost somebody who's trying to make a living doing something else time and money, because they're taking time away from the things that actually make them money, right? So somebody's got to do it. It might as well be me, since I'm been sinking my teeth in here and really become interested in what is going on in Facebook Live. So again, if you got removed from the private group, and you do have a membership in one of those other sites, or in the private group, or in the Facebook Live Elite program, or the Facebook Live training program, then make sure and just send me a message, a private message, and I'll put you back in as soon as we can confirm that you are in there. We got Susan. Hello, Susan Madden. I'm glad to see you on here. I saw that Dean was on here, I think. And we got shared, which is mostly my sharing of this particular thing. I don't have much confidence as a writer. Well, you're going to like what I have to say in the private group, Charmaine. If you don't have if you don't have confidence in your writing, this strategy will work for you. I was on a Publish and Profit. They did a webinar yesterday, and a whole bunch of us from the community were in there. And one of the things I always like to tell people is that if I could write a book, if I can be a 6-time #1 best-selling author, 4 of those being international bestsellers, if I can do that, then anybody can, because I am a horrible speller. To this day, I still have to sound out restaurant, so I know how to spell it. Rest-a-u-rant, right? I have to say that in order to know how to spell it. I hesitate when writing there to make sure that I'm writing the correct there for what it is I'm talking about, whether it's theirs, or I'm going over there, or there, they are. I struggle, Charmaine, and my grammar just is horrible. And so no fear. Even if this strategy involved a lot of writing, you would not, don't worry about it. Because I as I'm building another product, which is writing a book, and that's how to write a book and become a #1 best-selling author. Once I get that one done, I'll share all the techniques and things that I do to be able to get to be a #1 best-selling author and have minimal, errors and misspellings and that kind of stuff. Even the best, I've read some of the best, authors, and even they have typos. And so one of the things that keep people from launching a book or writing a book is that they think that it has to be perfect, and that is so far from the truth. Perfect is paralyzing. And so you cannot be perfect. If I was trying to be perfect on Facebook Live, do you think I'd ever be on Facebook Live or doing any of these shows or showing you how to do something? Absolutely not. I'd be paralyzed. So Charmaine, you can correlate that with what you see me doing when I'm demonstrating something like Mimo Live, or when we're talking about Facebook Live advertising with John North, which is going to be in the private group probably by the end of the day. You're going to want to watch that. Is that none of those are perfect. We say the wrong word, we click on the wrong button, the computer freezes. I've done webcasts where my computer completely dies, and the person I'm interviewing, their computer stays up, and she continued running the Facebook Live while I had to log back in and get back on. Things happen, right? So it really is kind of the same thing with the book. There's no way that you're going to please everybody, number one. Number two, there's going to be something that is just not going to be perfect about it, no matter how many editors you have reading your book. And I've hired editors that have cost me up to $2,000 to edit a book, and there were still errors. There were still missing periods. There was still a comma or too many commas or something that somebody pointed out later on, said, hey, did you know on page 39 you have the word and twice in that one sentence where it's and it just happens. It gets past I. So you're going to love the strategy, Charmaine, either way. So make sure and be in the private group. I'm going to talk about that either tonight or tomorrow. So be ready for that. And the purpose for having that, again, somebody's right, you're doing Facebook Live, why do you need a book? Well, the Facebook Live is one avenue of getting people's attention, and then hopefully what you're doing is you're sending them somewhere to where they can get into some type of list, where they can opt into something, and that could be giving away your book. It could be giving a very low discount price for something that you're offering. It is putting them into in the dog training programs. I have a couple free programs, which are membership sites, which they can opt in for free. One of those is, I think, the dog park etiquette book or membership site is free, and that is a lead magnet. I have another one for shelter, German Shepherd shelter dogs, and so that one is free when they opt in to get inside there. And so whatever it is, and writing a book is one of those things that we use as a strategy to give away, to invite people to get emailed to them in a PDF form, to begin getting them into one of our funnels so that we can eventually sell something of higher value to them. And so a book almost goes hand in hand with Facebook Live. Dean Renfro, who was often live, he was just live a minute ago, and watching him, has a book, and he puts that book up. I don't know if he had it up today. Yesterday, I remember he had it up, had the image of his book while he was broadcasting and telling people how they can get a copy of his book. And it's a perfect strategy. And people love it when they get something, right? When they get something emailed to them that feels of value, and quite often they don't read it. Mike Koenigs was talking about the number of pages in correlation to how far they and how much of your book that they actually read. And I wish I could remember the stats. I may have to find out from him what those were. But it was something like anything over 80 pages, people don't read the book or something like that. And so this is kind of horrible to say. Don't think that when somebody buys your book, they're actually going to read it. What they like is getting something for free, right? How many things have you picked up at a trade show off of a table and think, well, I could really use that. And then you don't see it again for 6 months, and it's like in a drawer, and you end up throwing it away. You never used it, but you did enjoy getting it for free, right? And maybe you saw the logo and the name and the phone number, and you eventually got triggered. Oh yeah, I forgot I have that thing, and you did call that number that's on that thing that they gave you. But really, it's people just love getting stuff for free. I've done lots of trade shows where I've been the vendor at a trade show, and people take crap just because they can. They come to your table just to take stuff. And and I remember I was in the dog food business for a while, and people just came and they would come over and over again wearing different hats in a different way just to get free dog food. And so people love free stuff. So having something for free, whether it's a membership site or a book, is very, very powerful. So this started off because I was going to tell you about the private group. Well, the private group is this is where we're going to talk about all this stuff. And as I began thinking about it, I think the private group and having that gate on there to add value to being in a private group like that, I think is the right strategy for what it is I'm planning on doing in 2017. And that is actually making a living doing this stuff and teaching you guys what it is that I'm learning as I'm going through the process. I jumped onto a live broadcast with Ryan Steffelson, and I could never say his name. Let me look at his let me look up his name here really quick so that I get it right. Stephalophagus, that's what he told me to call him because nobody else can pronounce his name either. Steffelston. I know somebody's going to write it in there. Ryan Steinolfson. He's got like 2 billion people following him on YouTube and some other stuff. And he's he was really known for his periscoping and things like that. But I jumped on, and he teaches people strategies on how to use social media and that kind of stuff. Anyway, I jumped on one of his broadcasts yesterday, and he's been so kind to me because he and I were speaking at the same event in San Diego called the Social Media Conference. And he was so kind and just was telling me, really promoting me and what I've been doing with Facebook Live and that kind of stuff. And he would happen to be talking about Facebook Live, and it's about scheduling Facebook Live. And together, sharing our screen using Blue Jeans, we went through this process of creating a schedule. Some of you may have seen it. It was scheduled to go live on Facebook, but there's no way to go live from that posting that we could find. We were both stumped. And it was so nice. I mean, from Ryan, who has this huge following and has been doing it for a little bit longer than I have, probably quite a bit longer than I have. We're both figuring like, how do you do this? I mean, because we were scheduling it through Blue Jeans, we were able to. He showed me something brand new in Blue Jeans that I had no idea existed, on how to schedule it from the Blue Jeans onto your Facebook page. But now, once you've scheduled it, what do you do with it? Because if you go back into Blue Jeans and start that stream session again, it gives you a whole new live stream URL code. It's different than the one that's in the scheduled post that's on your Facebook page. So I thought, well, maybe I'll be able to do it from my phone. So I'm having my phone set up. I am the administrator for the Facebook Live TV show, right? And I'm thinking, do I just simply click on the post at 6 o'clock when it was scheduled, 6:01 or sometime before that? No, that didn't work. Do I push down on the screen because I have a iPhone 6 Plus, and does it do anything different when I push on the phone? No, nothing like that happened. I could not, and I don't know that he knows how to. How do you get back on live on a scheduled Facebook posting? Now, I'm hoping that somebody that's watching this happens to know the answer to that, but I don't. I don't know how to do it. And so these are the things that we're going to talk about in the private group. So I'm sorry if I keep sounding like I'm going off tangent, but I'm kind of giving you an idea of what to expect in that private group and why I'm going to begin charging people to be in that group. So I removed, or actually my assistant removed quite a bit of people. And I'm sorry if some of you are watching that and you're friends of mine and we've worked together and done stuff together, and you got removed and you're thinking, well, God, I thought I was closer to Andy. I thought he would leave me in there. I am sorry. The problem is I have 15,000 friends, and and you all are important to me. And there was like no point. Like I'm thinking like, well, who do I keep in and who do I take out? And I just chose, listen, I'm just going to take out everybody who isn't in the elite program or the Facebook Live training program. I'm going to take everybody out. If they're in there, they can stay. And regardless, and I know that my brothers and sisters are going to be mad at me because I took them out of there too, and my dog. And so everybody was removed. So unless you are in one of the Kajabi groups that I have. Again, if I did remove you and you did pay and you're a member of one of those groups, just private message me and let me know, and I'll put you right back in. All right. Again, I am not in my studio, which is behind me, because a gremlin or a burglar or the dog somehow broke my Logitech, the USB connector got bent in my computer along with everything. I don't know what happened. Everything was disheveled, and I'm not sure if the dog got tangled up in the wires and decided to break everything. All right, so gosh, I still have 4 people on. I didn't lose anybody. Let's see if I got any new comments on here as I refresh my page. You may hear me talking to myself here in a second as it refreshes. I cannot wait until Blue Jeans gets commenting into. Oh, look at all these comments. All right, let's see. Dean, you go to where you posted it. Oh, sorry, I'm reading it backwards. Get your turn the mic on. Some guy I know did that today. yeah. I just see. I was going to leave that alone, Dean. Oh, you didn't say you did. Sorry. Made a sale today because of that broadcast. Great. That's fantastic. I really see. Charmaine says, I recently had a conference organizer in Texas ask permission to copy my 60-page free ebook so they can give it to each conference participant this year. Oh, awesome. She is also interested in me being their speaker next year. I told her they could give each participant next year a copy of my Amazon book. So Charmaine, just make sure, I'm sure that you've already done this, you already thought of this, make sure that your contact information is on, it could be in every page. It could be up in the header, right, or in the footer, your email address, or your website, or your contact phone number. But make sure that it's on that document, and every page is awesome. You just put it down there, kind of subtle, and then on the title page, it has your, inside the book, it has your title and you as the author, and then your website and contact information, so that whenever you are giving it away, that there's a way for people to find out how to get a hold of you, because it is your information, and at least you should have that. That's how you manually start a scheduled broadcast. That's how you manually start a scheduled broadcast. Oh, you go where you posted it, profile page or group, click on the video post admin. Oh, all right. I'm going to check that out. I will check that out. Yeah, I was stumped. Go to where you posted it. Yep, did that. Profile page. Profile. Page or group. Click on the video post admin. Click start manual. I don't know why I didn't see that. I mean, I tried clicking on all the little buttons and all the little drop down menu, all that kind of stuff, and did not find that. I obviously did not look in the right place. So thank you, Dean, very much. And I do wish you would have been around when I was trying to do that yesterday, because I could not find a way to do that. It says 18 comments here, but I'm only seeing 4. And I've clicked on it many times. Here, let me click on it from another way. Find that. I obviously did not look in the right place. So sorry about that. All right, scrolling down. There we go. Hey, John McCabe. Nice to see you. Did I know what group I am in? Because you would have, Susan Madden asked, how do you know what group you are in? If you purchased and you are in a Kajabi group where you log in with a name and email address, and a password, and it's Zero to Hero School is the website. If you're there, then you purchased the program. If you don't have that, then you probably are not a member or did not purchase the program. But let me look. Let me see if your name's in it. I don't see your name in here. So there's a good chance you did not. Again, this list looks a little short. It's only a couple pages, and it seems to me that we had more people purchase than what I'm seeing. Or I remember transferring people over. So I could be missing you, but I don't see you in here. Oops. Bruce Jones, glad to see you on here. I was just talking about you. I forgot what I was saying, but I was saying something good, I think. How do I know what group I'm in? Andy, I didn't learn to write until I was 50. What? Bruce Jones? Wow, I wish I would have put, hold on. Stay there. I got to get off pretty soon because I have a live broadcast coming up. Hold on, Bruce Jones, if you can. I don't know if you can. Get on this. Hold on, stand by. I got to hear more about this. What you just wrote is, I can't believe it. Hold on, why is this not happening? So anybody else that wants to join in, just know that I'm going to have to jump off in about a half an hour. So if you want to come on live, if Bruce, you can come on live, that would be fantastic. Hey, Pat Zemer, glad to see you. If you want to come on live, anybody feel free to come on live. Charmaine, yes, I updated the ebook with links to Facebook Live videos, YouTube videos, nice, blog post, podcast. But make sure that there's something on there that they can get a hold of you, right? All those things are great, and they probably can get a hold of you through there, but make it simple. Remember that you have to make things really easy for people sometimes, and tell them what to do, right? There's got to be things like, to get a hold of me, send me this email, or to find out more, go to this website, to Bob, and tell them what to do. On the videos, I don't do a good job, and Bruce reminds me all the time when I don't do it, is that you need to tell people, where to get more information, or to share and like and follow, and share it with their friends and family, share it with their colleagues. And so share these videos and things on your private groups. I would love it if you would do that with these things that I'm doing here. Share it to your private groups and say, hey, if you're interested in learning how to make money while you sleep, then you need to do that. But I cannot believe Bruce just laid that out on me, that he did not learn how to write. And I'm assuming write a book until he was 53. I know that he probably, I can't imagine he didn't know how to write, but just did not start doing this. But he has so many books. That's why I don't know how. I think he has like 1,000 books that he's written. So I don't know how he just started doing it, because I think he's only like 53 and a half. Oh, perfect. Good job, Charmaine. Okay, Bruce is coming on. I got to hear more of this story. I'm going to keep this going. Pat Zemer, how do I join a group and which one? Oh, okay. I'm glad you asked that, Pat. And so there's going to be a gate. I'm going to have the gate up in either tonight or tomorrow. It'll be on this page. It'll be pinned to the top. It'll say access to the private group. You're just going to click on that, and it will send you into PayPal. You pay the $4.99 a month, and then you'll be taken to the private group, and then you have to ask for permission to be in the group, and then I approve it. So there's a couple steps, but it's worth it. I promise you it'll be worth it. I mean, it'll be worth it just for what John North and I are doing in regard to Facebook advertisement. You will not. I'm telling you, he pointed out some stuff that I've been doing now for a couple of years in Facebook advertisement, which he was just laughing at. And again, it is not my superpower. I'm free to admit and willing to admit to anybody who will listen that Facebook ads is not. It's kind of like Infusionsoft. It's just not. I don't know what it is. I blank out. But he explained so many things, and the way that Business Manager now has been created, and the tools that are in there, it's a little bit easier, if not a lot more easy, to understand what it is you're supposed to be doing. I think the way that it used to be, he said he even stopped using Facebook advertisement back when it was another person who was running it and created the tools inside there. And I knew it was powerful before because I've talked to Will Irish a great deal, and he will also be an interview that will be in the private groups that we'll be talking to, just to add more to Facebook advertisement. But it is way more powerful than even what I even thought that it was. Just how you can hone down on people. You can hone it almost down to, I only want to advertise these shoelaces to people who have tied their shoelaces today, more than 3 times. I mean, it was really incredible how you can hone down to a specific audience, and understanding how far do you want to hone down. Do you want to reduce it down to a small group of just very targeted people, or do you want to keep it a little bit more open? And the insights that he had is some of those questions that I had for him. And he had the answers, right? And it wasn't like he was making crap up. He has great experience in doing Google ads and Facebook ads, and has been doing it a long time for big corporations and for himself and for his clients. And so he knows what it is that he's talking about. So I hope I answered your question. I went off on another tangent there, Pat. There will be a gate. It will be available. I will also, come on live and explain how to do it. But the posting will be here in the public group, the Facebook Live public group. It'll be pinned to the top of the page. You just click on it, and it'll be self-explanatory. It won't be that difficult at all. And there you go. I can see Bruce is coming on now. And so there is that. What else was on here that I didn't get to? Where to post? Okay. That was some good news, Charmaine, that you shared. That's awesome. Hey, Bruce. I'm not looking at Bruce right now. He's over here.
Okay. There we go.
I got 2 computer screens.
Let me turn this other one down.
Can't hear you yet.
There we go.
Unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Still can't hear you. I don't know why. Is it me? Can you guys hear him? Let me know if you can hear Bruce.
It's you. 1, 2, 3. I have my mic is on.
Pointing, but I don't hear you.
I think it's your mic.
You guys can hear Bruce?
See here.
Is that a yes?
Yep.
Somebody tell me.
So 1, 2, 3.
It's always funny when people do this. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, you know what? Oh, wait, hold on. You guys can hear Bruce?
It's your end.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, funny enough, I can hear you on the replay or on the. It's always funny when people.
Oh, on the other side. Yeah.
I don't know what's happening. What do you? Obviously, something's wrong with my.
You know what?
Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry.
Hold on.
It is. What is going on?
1, 2, 3.
Well, I'm gonna try to
4.
turn down my volume so that at least I know that I can hear your story when you tell it. So, really, the reason I wanted you on is that I need to hear the story about. And Charmaine brought it up too, that she's a little bit worried about writing a book or whatever. And so I'm sure there's other people that like, oh, I don't have that much confidence in my writing. What is this story about that you did not learn to write until you were 3?
This is true. I'm dyslexic, and so I went through all of my schooling and everything that I did. Not really knowing how to write. I was the kid who always made models in class. There's a kid who makes like a model or does a play or does some structure. That was me all the way through school. And so because of being dyslexic, I had no understanding of how to put sentences together. It was just so hard. Everything was always flipped around and backwards. And when I was in college, I always find somebody who would sort of take me under their wing and try to get me to write. But it was a real struggle. And I couldn't write memos. I couldn't do anything. I just struggled with it because I couldn't figure out the structure. My backs always become the fronts of sentences and everything gets mixed up. And even today, and all my clients know that being a graphic designer, you need to be able to take corrections and things. They all know to spell the words for me. If I don't get a word out the first time, it's gone. It's completely gone out of my head until I come around again. So even a simple word like bottle, if I don't get it down, if I'm writing it, it just goes. It's gone.
Really?
And so it's just I have no understanding how to do it until or in the future I can come back at it again. So, and words that are like probably is a big one. Anything with B's and D's, the mind flips them up and down. So I know how to spell those words. And but I just I always wanted to be able to write. So that's why I got good. I guess a lot of designers are dyslexic, and so I think you go where your strengths are. I'm good with pictures and putting stuff together, but not writing. But I always wanted to do it. I always wanted to write books, and I always wanted it to be part of what I do. And I started blogging, and I sort of developed techniques to kind of do it. Like one of them is and I did this. I wrote the first book I wrote was you write a letter to somebody, like to your sister. And I labeled it one of my sisters is named Catherine. I wrote, Dear Catherine, and then I wrote a book to her because it takes you and puts you in a different mindset. So it's just a trick. I don't know where I learned it. Somebody talked to me or something, but it just puts you in a letter is different than a book. And then you just take your Catherine off the front and you have your book. I also learned, and I made that comment about editors. Once I learned that you don't have to be perfect, that's why we have editors. And I worked with a lot of editors. They fix the ideas and put them together. So that was some of the process of relieving some of that stress. And then I took a Jeff Walker course. You know Jeff Walker from, and he had an exercise in his course, whatever the PLC or whatever it is, where he gave little tiny questions over a period of weeks, and you're supposed to fill them in. And by the time that the end of the exercise was done, you had a business plan. But he did it in little tiny pieces. And for some reason, I pushed myself through that. I wrote these just little couple sentences on each one of these sections. Something broke, and I stepped through, and suddenly words just became flying out of my fingertips. It was the most magical feeling. And I just like, oh, here it is. And I had somehow broken through, and I just started writing. And so if you read any of my emails at that time, they're like this long. Because I was like, and then I realized it's really a muscle. And I just kept working at it. Once I knew I could get it through and I could do it, then I just kept working and working and working. And I would, I'd take off a day at work and go to a library and just sit in a room and write. I would sort of do like a day, I call it a day of thinking. You just go someplace you can just write all day.
Right. That reminds me of a story that I often tell, and I told it the other day with Molly Mahoney. She was interviewing me on her show, and I was incredibly shy as a kid. But what I did is I took up magic, and I loved magic so much that I gosh, now I got to show somebody this magic. I got really good at it, but I was too shy to show anybody. But so I went into a character and created this character. His name was Andini. That was really his name because I was a fan of Houdini. And so Andini was my character. And now I'm standing up in front of people. I was in front of an audience over at the La Mirada Civic Theater. I'll never forget it. And juggling and doing all this stuff as a character. And I was not shy as Andini. As soon as Andy came back in, I was really shy. Over a period of time, that just began to go away,
Kind
and
of
I
morphed
became
the two
less and less
together.
shy,
Kind of
and
morphed the
kind
two
of that
together.
same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I was able to so this is why I tell people that, writing your first book is a transformative experience, often in ways that you didn't even realize was going to happen to you, because it was transformative for me. It's like I was finally able to step through that door, and be able to write. I mean, the dyslexic stuff didn't go away, and I still have to like switch sentences around, but somehow I relaxed about it. Spell checker really helped. I learned about using an editor that, let somebody else fix the problems. It doesn't have to be perfect. Small pieces pushed together to make bigger pieces,
Yeah.
and all those things. But yeah, no, it's probably one of the reasons I have so many books, because once I figured out how to do it, I was like,
It's a
I'm
blah.
not stopping. Yeah. And
It's funny you talked about spell checker. My daughter pulled up this. I think it's on Instagram. I don't even know what it's called, but it's text messages that have gone awry. If you ever
Yes.
want to laugh so hard that you're going to throw up, go on Instagram and look at all how spell checking ruins people's days by replacing words. So I'm so sorry, Bruce, but I only have a couple more minutes. I got to get on with Barbara McLean. Barbara is another. That's a word I have trouble with too. I think I have. I know I have some issues like you described, dyslexia and that kind of stuff. Because restaurant is a problem. Barbara is a problem.
Yeah.
Those things cause me grief all the time.
Right. And my clients, would often get some of them who didn't know this about me, because I would have to slow them down to spell like really simple words. And they'd be like, why doesn't this guy know how to do this? And it used to be so embarrassing in a meeting if I'm taking notes and I'd see people looking over at my pad going, what is that guy writing? Because it was just like script. And I was horrible. So I was that kid in school that made I made a Viking village, and I went a windmill, and I made all these different, I get up and talk about them. And because I just couldn't.
It's still the worst. I'll be taking notes at some of those events in San Diego, with all these very smart people, and I'm taking notes, writing them. Sometimes they go, "Hey, can I see what you?" And I don't want them to see what I wrote, because I know there's no way
right
that I even wrote the word "to" correctly. So there's a couple lessons that come about from this broadcast that were not intended in the beginning. But Dean Renfro brought it up that he just had a broadcast where he didn't turn on his mic, and he was sitting here chatting away. And I got on. I go, at that time I thought it was my stuff, but it turned out that he forgot to turn on his mic. You could be dyslexic and be a book writer. You can have somebody come on, and the mic, for whatever reason, I had the configuration was wrong. I'm just so used to everything just working, and I didn't click the correct input. On the app, on the Blue Jeans. On the computer, it's correct, but out of the Blue Jeans, correct. And so the point is that all this stuff is going to happen, but you didn't see Dean panic. You didn't see Bruce panic. He found another way of doing it. You didn't see me panic necessarily. I just went to another thing and checked it, asked you, can you hear him? And then as he was talking, then I fixed the glitch. But none of those things should have caused any of us to freeze and not do anything or stop. Right. So many people, I think, allow things like this and the potential of these things happening to freeze them, to the fear of it happening. They go, oh, well, I can't look foolish in front of 2 people, much less 500 people. I mean, that feeling of getting on stage and your zipper being down is just going to happen, right? It's just something that's going to happen. And
I tell people we don't have to be CBS television. We're not, this is not CBS television. And even they make mistakes.
I mean, that's one of the funniest things is to go onto YouTube and watch the bloopers, and it makes you feel so much better. They pass out. I've seen them pass out on camera. So even they have problems. And I think there's this one famous thing with, what's the guy who's the weatherman on the Today Show?
Al
Roker.
Al Roker, yeah.
Al Roker, he talks about how he went to the bathroom in his pants and it's a story that he often tells. He says, there was a time where I went to the bathroom in my pants. And it's a great story because you think of, these guys are so polished and they're so good. But no, human things happen, and you just need to get through it. So not that big of a deal. But Bruce, I'm glad you came on. I really, that's something I did not know about you. You may have mentioned it before and just maybe went over my head. But I really enjoyed learning that about you.
Is persistence. You just keep at it. You just keep going. And that's kind of what it took me 53 years to figure it out, but I just kept going until it finally it just felt like it was just words just pouring out of the ends of my fingers. And so and same thing with broadcasting. If it doesn't work, just come back and do it again and do it again, and you'll learn little bits. So.
Yeah, Charmaine has a great comment here. She said, as a retired special ed teacher, I always advocate for teachers giving students choices of how to show what they know and have learned. In our culture, literacy is held in high esteem, and people make judgments about others based on their literacy skills. See? It's like misspelling the word misspelled, which I do all the time. Literacy skills is held in high esteem, and people make judgments about others based on their literacy skills. We need to recognize there are many different types of intelligence. Right.
It probably wasn't another kid in that class who I made an entire working windmill with gears and plans, and it was all out of balsa wood, and it stood, and it was like this whole in a village with woven walls and plaster things, and it was just so.
Yeah, really cool. I posted on my private page and on the Falco Canine Academy page. It's a video of a girl hiding behind a door, calling her dog, and the dog is running around frantically trying to find her. And the girl's basically visible. But as a dog trainer, I looked at from this entire different thing, because what she says is, she goes, "You stupid dog," and I think she's being silly and she's being goofy. She doesn't really, we think of somebody calling you stupid, depending on how the context and the tone of your voice can really make you pissed, or like, oh, they're just being silly with me. But it's that thing, right? You say things about something that's happening, which is not even true. That dog is not stupid, right? And so these things come out of our mouths. These things can be said about somebody, like Charmaine was just saying, and they don't know. People just don't know, right? They don't know really what's going on, that it's actually something else. And so this is a huge day for me for this kind of stuff. It's just awesome. So I'm so glad that you came on and shared that with us. Dean Renfro, great show and good, honest look at ourselves so we can laugh about it and move on. I have to go back and retitle this post because it has very little to do with what I came on to talk about. So just wrapping up. I took some people, some of you that are watching right now, out of that private group for the Facebook Live TV show. Again, it's I'm going to put a gate on there that's going to it'll be a gate that you pay for. Right now, it's going to be $4.99. It starts either tonight or early first thing tomorrow morning to get in. And the reason being is because we all have to make a living. And I think the information that I'll be putting in there is going to be worth it. Number two, that's the second reason. And because some of these recordings that I'm making right now with John North, and I have planned with other people, and including maybe even Bruce, if I could talk him into going in there and giving value to this page, it's going to definitely be worth it. And $4.99 is nothing compared to what it is.
I can do that. I can do $4.99. The $9.99 stuff was like, oh.
All right. So that will be in there. Again, to my friends who I took out of that group, it's not because I don't like you. I have a lot of friends. I would be broke if I gave everything I have away to my friends. And so I am sorry. You all are very, very important to me. And so that's just unfortunate. Sometimes we have to make those tough decisions. So there you go. All right, so if you want to see another show, if you haven't had enough of me, I'm going to be on the Falco Canine Academy. Those of you may know Barbara McLean, but she has come up with a program in regard to Kids Club for Shelter Dogs, or Shelter Dog Kids Club, I think it's called. And I can't wait to hear about it. She's going to talk about 7 steps to creating a successful shelter, and it's going to be a really good conversation. So if you know Barbara, and you want to support what she's doing, please go in there and give her some of your time. That'd be awesome. All right, that's at 12:30. Falco Canine Academy Facebook page. All right, thanks, Bruce. Again, thank you, everybody, Dean and Charmaine, and now I started this. I got to finish. Marie, Pat Zemer, and John McCabe for coming on. I really appreciate it. All right, you guys, take care. Thanks, Bruce.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.